They're back.
Big Poppy, Clint Miller.
Ho, 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 Steve.
Ho, ho, ho. Here at the whorehouse. Alongside to my left, we got B-Rad.
What's up?
How far would you go?
I tried doing it with them, but I don't know. I got to grow a little bit bigger set before I can do that.
The time is near.
Race fans, it's time to throw it up on the cushion and get dirty. Live from the Casa de Pork Chop Studios, it's time for Turn 5 Live. Now, your hosts of Turn 5 Live, Stephen Ovens, Clint Miller, and Brad Ovens.
Oh, race fans. Welcome to another Tuesday night here on Turn 5 Live, here on the Performance Motorsports Network. I am your host, Steve Ovens, sitting alongside my good partner in crime, Clint Miller. Clint, let's get right into it, man. How has your week been, my friend?
Week's been good so far. Other than it's a little chilly tonight, but other than that, everything's well.
Well, that's good, man. We just wrapped up Kokopah Winter Heat Sprint Car Showdown. We're getting ready to start the Chili Bowl tonight. They've been practicing for a day now out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mean, this is a pretty good time of year. It's not going to be too much longer, and we're going to be talking about Florida in February.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Once Christmas is over with and once New Year's is over with, it's countdown to racing season for us, and really, essentially, the countdown is done because somewhere from here on out, they're going to be racing something.
Well, you're right about that, and between Kokopah wrapping up, Chili Bowl getting started now, I mean, over 325 entries, and there's only going to be 24 guys that start the A main on Saturday. Just an outstanding field. I mean, you've got drivers from everywhere. You've got NASCAR drivers. You've got World of Outlaw drivers, USAC. I think we mentioned NASCAR, IndyCar. Sarah Fisher's in the field. Just an incredible amount of talent that's going to be in the field. I was listening to an interview earlier, one that Tony Stewart did earlier, and one that Kenny Wallace did as well. And I mean, it's really a who's who out there looking to pick up the Golden Driller.
It really is, and I had forgotten that Kenny Wallace was out there going to run it. I remember just a couple years ago he said that he wasn't going to be doing that. So it's amazing what happens when something's waved under your nose.
Well, you're right, and let's talk about who we got on the big show tonight, Clint. We're going to start off our first interview of the night. Going to bring in Nick Stark from the Grit Racing Series. And Clint, what an exciting announcement earlier in the weekend that we were able to make. RaceChaserOnline.com and Turn 5 Live has joined forces with the Grit Racing Series. Grit Racing Series naming us the official media outlet of the Grit Racing Series. So pretty exciting stuff there. When you're looking for news on the Grit Racing Series, there's only one place that you're going to go first to find the information. That's RaceChaserOnline.com. And, of course, Turn 5 Live and our Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page, as well as our Twitter feed at Turn 5 Podcast. Now, if you're listening to the show tonight, don't forget you can tweet us or send us a Facebook message during the show. We'll read your questions and answer them right here live on the air. And our question of the night tonight, and you can tweet us at Turn 5 Podcast, who do you have for the Chili Bowl? And we'll wait till a little bit later on in the show, and we'll talk about that, who we think is going to be taking home the Golden Driller this year from out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But on the show tonight, we got Nick Stark. We'll be talking to him here in our first hour. After we talk to Nick, we're going to turn it over to Doug Elkins from DougsDirtDiary.com, who, Dirt Motorsports, Dirt Modified Racing Insider, writer for the Syracuse Post-Standard. We're going to talk to Doug about a whole host of topics, from racetrack ownership to individual drivers. We'll talk about a couple of racing series, and we'll also talk about, kind of close out 2014. We haven't talked to Doug since the end of the season. We're going to talk to him about how everything went down at the World Finals with with Billy Decker taking home the championship in the Super DirtCar Series over Matt Shepard. And, we're going to talk to Doug, get his comments on all of those things. Should be a fantastic conversation with Doug there. Clint, let's update everybody on some things that we know, things that we don't know at this point. And let's go right out to assuming is going to be renamed the Black Rock Speedway. Latest word that we have right now is that it's looking like the deal may be done tomorrow, Clint. I was taking a look at Steve Kellogg's article in Area Auto Racing News. The digital edition comes out every Tuesday morning. I think it comes out right at 6 o'clock. And in this week's edition, it sounds as though the deal could be done on Wednesday to have Mike Jackson take over as the promoter of the Black Rock Speedway.
Finally.
Yeah, that's true. We've kind of been waiting on this one. Some folks have been waiting with bated breath about what's exactly going to happen and how, as far as divisions and guys wanting to know rules and all that good stuff. So, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, that's for sure, Clint. And it looks like, possibly tomorrow, we could put all of this to bed and finally
put it to bed.
Get an official announcement that the lease has been signed and that things will start moving ahead to 2015. Because, Clint, let's face it, today's January 13th, and a lot of work going to need to be done between now and whenever opening day is. We've seen it open as early as beginning to middle of April. We've seen it open the beginning of May, and we'll see what all happens here. But it looks like from the update we got last week that Mike Jackson was the leading candidate to get the job as promoter of the Speedway. It looks like that top candidate is going to hold true, but that looks like it might be taking place tomorrow. Again, we had comments last week that Dan Harpel was able to give to us. Not a lot of information, just other than him being, kind of surprised about how he heard about everything, how everything has gone down. Want to remind everybody about the Yates County Speedway 2014 season-ending banquet. That'll be Friday, January 30th at the Holiday Inn Riverview in Elmira, New York. You can get your tickets by contacting Dan Harpel, and I'll bring up that information if you're listening at home and want to get your tickets for the banquet. I know tickets are $35. I spoke to Dan yesterday. A few folks had asked about whether or not they could send down money order because the press release about the banquet said checks could be mailed to Yates County Speedway, P.O. Box 375, Kirkwood, New York, 13795. That's Yates County Speedway, P.O. Box 375, Kirkwood, New York, 13795. Tickets are $35. They can be paid for by check or money order, and all track employees who wish to attend the banquet will receive a $5 discount. Their banquet ticket will be $30. Cocktail hour begins at 6 o'clock, followed by a buffet-style dinner at 7. Awards presentations will take place from 8 to 9. And then this DJ company that you might know about, Creekside Entertainment, will keep the party going from 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. So, going to be a big night down there in Elmira, Clint.
Yeah, they're pretty good from what I understand. They've been real busy here lately with wedding expos and trying to, getting the word out about their company. And it's nice to take a few minutes out to help out Dan.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We had a booth down at the Arnott Mall this past weekend with our DJ photo booth and uplighting company, and I want to thank Creekside Entertainment. They one of our first sponsors to jump on board, and has been a supporter of the show right along. But I had a booth down at the Arnott Mall this weekend, and Clint, let me tell you, my friend, we kind of tipping our own cap, but man, it was a good weekend. We'll just say that it was a good weekend down at the Arnott Mall. Getting the business down that way, and actually saw a lot of friends down there. Saw Malcolm Lane walking down the Arnott Mall, checking out all the booths and everything. So it's good to see him on Sunday. And a lot of our racing friends actually ran into a guy we had on the show last week. Dylan Potter stopped by, and he'll be getting married in the 2015 season. And looks like he's going to be going to Creekside Entertainment for his
nice
wedding entertainment. So, and this is something that Doug always preaches on his website. We'll talk to him about this a little bit later on. Is always giving your folks in the racing world, always giving your business, always give the guys that support racing the first shot at your business. And I've always remembered Doug having said that. And glad to see that a lot of our friends and supporters at Turn 5 Live have gone out and done that with Creekside. A lot of racers having their benefit parties coming up. One that I can think of right off the bat, the Gueri party. Nick and his folks there having one on February 28th. And Clint, I'll tell you, if you're gonna pick one benefit party to go to, that one has got some pretty big prizes. Those guys have got, I believe it's 2 week-long pit passes to Super Dirt Week. And that's at least $150 to maybe $160 value.
Wow.
2 week-long pit passes, and there was, I believe there was even a season pass in there for Canandaigua. So that's pretty impressive for just a local race team benefit party. That's pretty awesome.
Well, there's no doubt that those guys do it right.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the news. What we have so far for Black Rock Speedway, Yates County Speedway. We'll be getting more information probably for next week's show, and if that deal is in fact done, we'll be sure to have Mike Jackson on the show next week. Without a doubt. That this is if you run Dundee, if you live in the local area, that has been the story of the off season, is everything that's happened over at our favorite 410 mile track in Dundee, and hasn't happened. You're absolutely right. But we've let's see what else we got going today. Out of the Woodhall Raceway, they announced the dates for their annual mall show at the Arnott Mall. That'll be March 21st and 22nd down there at the Arnott Mall in Horseheads, New York. Always a great showing of race cars. If you live down in the southern tier, you've never been to a car show, or somebody that lives down there, tell them to swing over to the Arnott Mall and take a look at all the race cars on display. The guys we talked to last week, Dylan Potter and Dylan Cece, they're hoping to have their car ready by that mall show, and those boys have got some work to do, but they've got the chassis complete. If you're friends with those guys on social media, you can see the progress they've made in such a short time. I think they've got that chassis put together in a couple weeks' time, and these are two guys that have jobs, have other things to do during the day, and go work on the race car at night. So pretty good stuff there. We've got Nick Stark coming up from the Grit Series. He's going to talk to us about the Hoosier Series for the Grit Hoosier Series, as well as the Grit American Series. May have seen us put up some posts this afternoon about the schedules for both of those series. We're going to talk to Nick about those. There are some races that I believe are yet to be scheduled. We're going to ask him about that. We're going to talk to him about how things are shaping up for the 2015 season for the Grit Racing Series. Clint, just a big show tonight, and got something unique on the back half of tonight's show in hour number 2. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you got that 5-point harness buckled in.
Oh, we do, and let's just say that the flip count at the Chili Bowl tonight is already up to 3.
All right. We'll have live Chili Bowl updates all night long here on a 2-hour Turn 5 Live here on a Tuesday night. We're going to go off to a quick break. On the other side, Nick Stark from the Grit Racing Series.
On the other side of the break, more coverage and discussion from the dirt tracks. Stay tuned to Turn 5 Live.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette, but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory. And if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
Now back to the crew whose studio was named after a dinner entree. Here's Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Welcome back, race fans, here to the Turn 5 Live, here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, and now Brad Ovens joining you here on a Tuesday night here for Turn 5 Live. Clint, I'll bring you back in here for just a moment. Okay. You know, you talk about the Grit Racing Series, and I put out a blog. I don't know if you had a chance to see it over the weekend, but you know, you have a bunch of different options. I said that 2015 was going to be the year of the Sportsman Modified, and you've got the Grit Racing Series. Now you've got two different options for the Grit Series. You've got the DirtCar Sportsman Series, which kind of has been more of a Western New York, Canada type of series. I've got King of Dirt now over in the Capital region. A lot of options for sportsmen guys.
Yeah, there really is, and I'm glad that I'm glad that this has taken a step forward. I mean, you have all these crate cars. You brought the rules in. You made it so all these cars are quote unquote competitive. With the motors and chassis and whatnot.
That's so I'll let you go ahead and finish your thought there, Clint.
Yeah, well, it's nice that we have these rules in place so that all these guys can go everywhere and race. So now it's nice to have a series where their names are out there. They're big series. They draw a lot of cars, and it gives all these drivers a chance to go to all these different tracks and be able to race and have fun and do something new.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, we talked about the fact that you know, the Grit Racing Series, and we had posted about it earlier in the day that you know, there's two different options that they're going to have to run on the Grit Racing Series. One is the 2015 Grit Hoosier Series schedule, and we'll go over that real quick here. You're going to start that off Friday, Saturday night at the Canandaigua Motorsports Park. That's going to be a big event out there in Canandaigua, New York, to get things kicked off. That's part of Jan Corcoran Memorial Weekend. Then they move over to Memorial Day on a Monday night at the Utica Rome Speedway. Of course, Utica Rome just announcing that they'll be on Hoosiers for this season. And from some of the sportsman guys that have talked to me, that's kind of a big deal there. So I'm going to be really interested in the coming weeks to get some more Grit Series drivers on here and sportsman guys in general. I know Nick Guerri was one that reached out to me and said that that this was a big deal for Utica Rome, aligning themselves with some of the rules packages that you know are similar to a Brewerton, Fulton, those kind of tracks. So gonna be interesting to see what happens there. Tuesday night, June 2nd, the Hoosier Series will go to the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park. That's one of two events there at Glen Ridge. June 23rd, Tuesday night, they go to the Can-Am Motorsports Park.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Hey, there's Nick Stark from the Grit Racing Series. How are you, my friend?
Good.
So, welcome into Turn 5 Live. Pretty exciting announcement to be the official media outlet at Race Chaser Online and Turn 5 Live, and you know, it's just going to be a great thing for everybody involved.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you guys along. You know, it made sense. You know, you guys are race enthusiasts just like us, and you know, we all want to talk about the same thing, so it's a perfect pairing.
Well, let's get right into it, man. Let's look over now, and I want to clarify this right off the bat. You know, we had kind of talked back and forth about, you know, this North-South series. Now, if I understand this correct, what we're going to be calling the Hoosier Series is the North Series, and the American Series being the Southern Series. Do I have that correct? Essentially, yeah. For
naming purposes and for more of a geographical fit, it more or less is going to be, you know, North and South. Obviously, it does get a little weird, being that we're heading out towards Buffalo direction, and we do go, you know, down towards Pennsylvania as well. But for all intents and purposes, North and South is correct.
Now, one thing we were talking about was the move of Utica Rome to Hoosiers. Talk to us about, you know, how does that play into your guys' series and the sportsman guys in general?
Well, we spoke to Utica Rome off the bat, and they wanted us on board no matter what. And we had initially talked about how we wanted to do the regionalized racing, with the North region being Hoosier and the South region being American Racer. So initially, Utica Rome coming on board saying, hey, we want in. You know, no matter what, Utica Rome is a track that you cannot say no to. It's a fantastic facility. It's awesome, top to bottom. So we were going to figure out how we were going to make it work. And then with the new ownership coming in, Bill Shea coming in, and deciding ultimately that they were going to make the switch to Hoosier, we've known about it for a while, but we've had to keep our mouths shut, which is hard to do. But knowing that they were going Hoosier, it's a perfect fit for what we've already been building on that North area. And
to get back, you know, into that, you know, you also have some tracks here that have been on the schedule in the past. I mean, you guys have done a show at Canandaigua, but you also have added a show at Freedom, and I know that was a big deal for those guys, and I know you guys worked hard on trying to get a date for that.
Yeah, they reached out to us in the off season. Once again, another situation of new ownership. And some of the racers of that track had brought it to his attention that, you know, hey, we've raced with these grit guys. I think it'd be really fun and a really exciting for all of us to kind of bring out that talent. I know Kyle Inman is a guy that competed with us at Utica Rome a couple times. He's a regular at Freedom. Ray Smith, who owns a few cars and has, Billy Van Pelt and Ray Bliss running his stuff. They've had a chance to run with us at Black Rock, 5 Mile Point, Woodhall, etc. So those guys kind of passed it along and really gave us some positive reviews on it. And, we just worked and worked to find a date that made sense for us, something midweek so that our teams can travel, and something that's not going to kill everybody, with the long haul.
You also today was able to announce that that you guys are going to be making a second trip. Now, we knew that last week even that you guys were going to be going to Woodhall for the Brett Deo Short Track Super Series show. Now you guys will be out there a second date on Friday, September 25th. That just came out today.
Yes, that's exciting. It's the same exact date we had this past season. And I think we can build off the success that we had from last year. I think tapping into the talent pool in that particular area is essential to having a good, productive series. I mean, you got guys at that track that are awesome runners. Corey Costa, AJ Costley, Josh Kesey, just to name a few out of there. Dylan Groover's another one that I know they travel around. And those are the types of guys you want on your series, good, hard-nosed racers. And I think it'll translate from event to event.
Now, we were looking at the schedule on the Grit Racing Series website, gritracingseries.com. We were noticing that it said your best 10 races that goes toward the points. Now, is that the best 10 races for both North and South?
No,
that
actually,
goes toward
what
the
we're
full
doing
points?
is each region is going to have its own individual points fund. We wanted to go back to our drop system yet again. That's something we've done every year that we've had this, this series in existence. And I think when you force guys, if you have a 14 race schedule and all of a sudden you're like, hey, you got to go to 14 events, all of a sudden, that's pretty daunting. But if you can say, look, you've got something going on, you can miss a race here, you can miss a race there. It's a little easier to look at. And with the break with the North and the South, it kind of opens the schedules up, whereas last year we had to pack a lot of dates into, certain time frames. If you looked at our schedule in September last year, we had 6 or 7 events in 1 month, which is just crazy. So having the separate ones, they can choose 10 of those events towards their final points tally, and it's still going to be a great point fund payout. We're still going to do all of our contingency awards. We are giving away a crate motor this year. We're giving away a crate motor next year, and we're going to keep doing all the big stuff that we try to do for the teams.
What is 1 or 2 bullet points? And I know there's several, but give us 2 of the big bullet points of why a sportsman racer should come out and support Grit in 2015.
We're all about the racers. We have been since year number 1, which was 2013. We're going to do things to benefit the racers. This isn't something to benefit my father or myself. This is something that we put together solely for the racers, and we're going to keep making it bigger and better, and we are men of our word. If we say we're going to make something happen, we're going to make it happen, and we've proved that year in and year out. And we're loyal. We will be loyal to our teams all the way to the end.
Well, Clint, I don't know about you, but that would convince me if I had a sportsman car.
Yeah, no doubt. Sitting here listening, and we were there at the last race for the series last year that Rocky Warner won, and coming from the back, and everybody knew that night that whoever won, the motor was getting pulled, and nobody questioned it. And I think that's awesome, and I think that makes for better racing, and I think that makes for more cars.
Yeah, and that's something that we planned ahead of time. We want to bring some credibility to the series. One of the tracks to go to, Can-Am, they pull a winner's motor every 2 events that they win, and I think it's fantastic. Those guys know, hey, I win my second event, it's getting yanked and it's getting checked, and I think having that kind of rule in place is gonna keep the guys honest. Sure, if they may try to cheat something else, but that's where we've got to be on our toes, and we've got to, stay ahead of the game. And we've got to listen to our racers. We've got to listen, to what's happening in the industry and see what's out there, and just keep everybody honest, put together good, hard-nosed racing. And as you saw at that race last year, that's some of the best racing you'll ever see. I don't care. That is not quote-unquote, a high-end modified. It's just sportsman modified racing, but that's some of the best talent you'll see ever. They may start in that division this year, but chances are they're moving their way up. Our first year, we had Tyler Dipples. Look what he's doing now. I mean, he turned heads at Charlotte this year. Anthony Perego ran with us the first year. Timmy Sears Jr. ran with us the first year. Rocky Warner's no slouch. Dave Marcichelli's no slouch. I can assure you the Guerri boys, all of them, they're destined for big things in the modified ranks, and I'm sure you'll see it this year in full effect.
Well, Nick, we appreciate your time coming on. We're going to have you on again shortly here in the coming weeks. I know you guys are going to have some more dates to announce, and couldn't be happier to have you guys aboard for Race Chaser Online and us here at Turn 5 Live.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys, and remember, grit or done.
There we go. That's Nick Stark from the Grit Racing Series. We're off to a break. On the other side, we're going to get down and dirty and talk a little bit of dirt modifieds with Doug Elkins from Doug's Dirt Diary. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Stephen, Clint, and Brad will be back with more Turn 5 Live right after these words.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory. And if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
This is Rich Sharpstein, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live.
Thank you, Rich Sharpstein, bringing us back from commercial here on Turn 5 Live. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens with you on a Tuesday night here on the Performance Motorsports Network. And going to bring in our next guest on the show, Doug Elkins from DougsDirtDiary.com. Also a writer for the Syracuse Post-Standard. Doug, always good to have you on the show. Welcome back to Turn 5 Live.
Been a while, guys. Thanks for having me. Great way to pass the time on an ultra cold night here. Wow.
Oh, you You better believe it, man. I think this is the first time that we've had you on the PMN side. So good to have you aboard, and going to get down and dirty, talk a little dirt modifieds here.
Let's do it.
All right. I kind of wanted Doug, to start out and go back to the close of 2014. Matt Shepard moving over to HBR. Those guys were so strong this year, had some really great runs. I'm curious to know your thought on what do you think the bigger story was at the World Finals? Was it Billy Decker coming back to win the title, or was it Matt Shepard and HBR not being able to close the deal at the World Finals?
I look at two big stories there. I'll start with the one of the two that you suggested. I think Billy Decker winning after being off the series for several years and coming back was the bigger story. I mean, when you talk to these guys, especially at tracks like Syracuse, they talk about how much deeper Billy Decker goes into turn one than anybody else. I mean, Tim Fuller, Tim McCready, even Matt Shepard, all those guys will tell you the same story. And for him to come in with his familiar team and to pretty much take command of the series in the late races and win, I think is a bigger story. I mean, for Matt Shepard, switching to a new team and a new chassis is pretty big, and he still won, I think it was 25 races, I think, by the time he was done, and then one of only, I think, 3 guys in the Northeast in the modifieds who actually won that. But I think the biggest story about the close of 2014, especially when you look at NASCAR and the chase and trying to get points, that are that tight, we had 3 guys finish within 14 points at the top between the 2 of them and, of course, Brett Hearn. Didn't have to drop any races, didn't have to reset the points. I think that is probably the biggest story out of those things right there.
That's a really good point. That was really exciting right down to the end, and all those guys were racing each other up in the top. Just like the chase where they had everything reset. So yeah, that's a great point. Before we move on to the next topic, we were talking about HBR there. Jimmy Phelps going to be running HBR equipment for both weekly competition and on the series. How much do you think that's going to help Jimmy in 2015?
I think it can only help. I mean, yes, he had similar equipment with his dad's team, but it's not exactly the same equipment. It's not exactly the same motor. So I think you'll see a big improvement from Jimmy Phelps, and obviously I think this frees him up a lot more. I know he spent a lot of time at Dad's garage working on that, as well as trying to balance everything he had going on, not just with HBR, but the family business, bar transportation out there in Auburn, and his increased responsibilities out there at Weedsport. I was joking with Jimmy during the year. I do not know how he got everything done this past year. I think from a actual work hours, concentrating on the car, I think this could really make a big difference for Jimmy Phelps, and who knows, maybe we'll see a 4-car battle at the front. But yeah, this has got to be a really good deal for him, and Jimmy's been used to doing his own stuff for a long time, so if he didn't think that, he wouldn't do it. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big story in 2015. You'll see that win total increase by a lot for Jimmy Phelps, I believe.
We talk about guys, taking over at tracks and operating tracks. Going to be a little bit of a shakeup at Utica Rome Speedway. I mean, not so much as they're going to run the divisions that they've had, and they are going to switch to Hoosier this year. But I'm curious, that switch to Hoosier and Bill Shea coming in at Utica Rome, how does that shake things up with the dirt modified and the sportsman landscape?
Everything I'm hearing to this point has been positive. I actually wrote about this, I think it was last week. One of the things that made it tough at Utica Rome, especially for the modified division, there were 3 things that were different than all the other tracks around them, and the tires was only one of them. The NASCAR license, $200 for the license fee. A lot of the guys maybe didn't want to pay that, didn't know if they were going to go, and also the sail panels. So by getting rid of 2 of those things that are different, I think it makes it a lot more appealing than it was, and I think enough so where it will offset that $200 initial cost of the NASCAR license. I think a lot of people were floored when they saw how much money was given away at that banquet, and how big the checks were, even, just the guy finishing 8th, 9th, and 10th in the division. So I think that shakes up a lot of things. And adding the Crate Sportsman, I mean, they've been wanting to run there for years. And I was actually talking to Barb Clark about this earlier today. She's Director of Operations out there. Having the Crate Sportsman, the Open Sportsman, and then the big blocks creates a nice little ladder up there. So I could see how a guy could start in the crates, use the open motor as a nice way to kind of get used to a little bit more power under your feet, having a motor builder, things like that, and then moving up. Because to jump from a 350 horsepower crate to an 800 horsepower big block, it's got to be an amazing jump. I don't know how anybody does it, but I think they're shaping up for what could be a really good comeback year. And the other thing there, Steve, they're the only track around where 2 different tires are being used on a weekly basis. Hoosiers for the mods and the sportsmen, but then you've got the American Racers still for the Open Sportsman. I don't know of any other track around that's been able to pull that off, so a big kudos to Bill Shea and his crew for that.
Yeah, I don't know of any track that's doing that. That's a great point, and especially for weekly competition. I mean, You might see it on an open show, but not for weekly competition.
That's exactly it. But they knew that the open track, where they draw the Open Sportsman from, I-88, Thunder Mountain, Skyline, they're all American Racers. So if you were going to bring them up and put them on Hoosiers, that could possibly hurt in that situation. But I think the sportsman division as a whole, I think Fulton has been a big part in bringing that division back. We saw the numbers initially when the crates came out. It was ridiculous. Rolling Wheels had 66 cars, I remember, for one show. But they fell off quickly, and I think the drivers were wondering, how legitimate are these crates? Are they what they're supposed to be? How many are cheated up? Fulton, having their dyno right down the street, was able to pull motors, and you knew if you saw a guy in Victory Lane at Fulton, or a girl, because Beth Snyder's winning a lot of races there too, that motor was legit. And now you go extend that to Brewerton and Utica Rome. I can see the sportsman division jumping through the roof this coming season. I think that and the pro stocks with that new series in the Capital District, you'll see a lot of growth in those 2 classes.
That would be good to see, no doubt about it. Let's move on to another track that's going to see certainly some change, especially in ownership right now. Rolling Wheels Raceway. Certainly, their trivia has been pretty popular with the fans and the drivers in the off season, but it seems like what we've heard from them is stalled out. Is that something that we should expect at this point, and we're still waiting for a schedule and different announcements? Is it to the point in the year where people are getting nervous about that? What are you hearing out your way?
I think a lot of people are saying the same thing. Basically, they're waiting for something else to come out, but it's not really. When you look at the way that a lot of tracks and a lot of series do business, it's not unheard of. I mean, you come out with information in November usually is when you come out with this stuff. And then a lot of times right now is when a lot of those behind-the-scenes negotiations take place between tire manufacturers and representatives of different series. Because you can't just go running races without you kind of have to wait and see what other people are doing. So I'm not ready to push that panic button yet. But there's one thing that keeps me thinking that everything is going to be okay, and that's the fact that Rich Vleck is on board. Rich has been a part of a lot of different things over the years, and Rich, he's an exacting guy. And if this thing wasn't good, I don't think he'd want to put his name on it. And from the trivia side, the good thing there is, in the Facebook world, you're always hearing about somebody, hey, I won this on the Rolling Wheels trivia, I did this. So it is helping to keep their name out there, but no, I'm not ready to push that panic button yet. If it was about another month or now, or maybe Motorsports Expo and we don't hear anything, well, then I'm going to start getting a little worried.
You bring up Motorsports Expo, and that's a great segue here, because with it was always the Gator Motorsports Expo. Mm-hmm. Of course, we don't have the Gator publication anymore, but it does appear that is still, the show is still going to be carried on, and it sounds like it's going to be carried on with the same folks at the helm.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I talked to Sue Patrick the other day. The family is very excited about doing that, and they're obviously, disappointed at the way things worked with the publication itself. I mean, if you can't get somebody to print it and print it in the format you're using, it's tough. You have to redesign everything. So I feel badly for them about that, but they've always done a great job on this show. The big Motorsports Expo in March, and I think it's great that they're continuing on. And you have to wonder, if you promote one show, why not another? Who knows? Maybe the next chapter for Gated Racing News hasn't been written yet. Maybe the family will take things in a different direction and try to do some other stuff. But boy, we're happy to have them at that, because that is the big thing right there. That's the kickoff. That's how you find everything out. And it's shows like that bring our community, which big in a geographic area, but pulls them all close together and keeps the whole thing running well. I really think that's super important to have that thing going, and so glad that they're still going to be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much information that comes out. That's typically when you start seeing some official schedules and series schedules and all good things of that nature. And it really separates itself. I mean, those are two, kind of completely different shows between the motorsports show as well as the Parts Peddler in November. I mean, they kind of have a couple of different purposes there.
Yeah, because really the Parts Peddler, I think, you'll see a lot of guys there. They'll be doing a lot of networking, trying to find things, and then, trying to set up deals for next year, maybe with a sponsor, something like that. And then the Motorsports Expo is when you reveal all that stuff. So, like you said, two totally different purposes for the show. And if anything, the weeks leading up to that Motorsports Expo are the little reminder to all the teams, too. Hey, I better hurry up and get this car done. You start seeing cars on the track at Daytona. The Motorsports Expo's coming. If you're still looking at a bare frame in the shop, boy, you better get hustling.
We'll have more with Doug Elkins from Doug's Dirt Diary here after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
On the other side of the break, more coverage and discussion from the dirt tracks. Stay tuned to Turn 5 Live.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette, but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory. And if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
This is Jared, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live.
There's Jared Hill bringing us back from commercial here on Turn 5 Live on a Tuesday night. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens, joined by Doug Elkins on the phone here. Doug, let's get back into our conversation here and something that I know you were at recently and had some awesome interviews up on the site. Was from the Empire Super Sprints banquet. Always a big night there in Vernon.
Yeah, it wasn't easy to get to that night either with the ice storm we had and everything. A lot of guys were using their sprint car skills just getting to it. Great to see everybody again. A lot of orange. A lot of guys wore the orange ties, orange shirts. And those are not easy to find either, so got to give them a lot of credit. And you got to give the Kevin Ward family a lot of credit for showing up. I was sitting at the table with them, or at the next table right next to them, and an emotional night, to say the least, with one of the better run clubs in our area, the Empire Super Sprints.
That's for sure. They had such a wonderful tribute that the folks from ESS and I know Matt Thomas had a part in putting that together. I have to imagine that was quite an emotional room during the tribute.
Yeah, there wasn't a dry eye in the house, and I know that they've linked that online in a couple of places, and it was a lot of on-track footage, music in the background. They actually had some clips of Kevin Jr. speaking in some interviews that they had done. I purposely looked over at the family as this was going on, and in one moment they're smiling, and then the next moment they're crying. But there, like I said, there was not a dry eye in the house after that, and it's certainly something that we're all going to remember for a long, long time. And I just feel so badly for the family for the way that this happened. This was his only son. They had 3 daughters. The son came fourth. He was very instrumental in their family business, and it really shook people up. There's no doubt about it. And it was a tough night, but it was great to have everybody together, and everybody was sharing stories, and most of the people, when they came across to accept awards, the Ward family was right there in the front. They'd address them and tell a personal story and things. So I think we did the best we could under the circumstances. But yeah, it was tough at times to be there. But we were it's kind of like when you're at a funeral and you're hanging out, or at a wake when you're hanging out with your friends afterwards. You don't want to leave, but you don't want to go anywhere either. You just want to be around people that feel the same as you do.
I have to imagine that the banquet the other night there in Vernon took on kind of a similar atmosphere that the night at Brewerton did. It was kind of another one of those things that we can cross off the list, that we got together as a group. We did what we needed to do, and is helping folks move forward as best they can.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, even at the night at Brewerton, it wasn't like a lot of people were talking about it. I think me being there asking them was really about the only thing that that got people talking about it outside of like at the meeting. It's more, you just look at somebody and you get that look and you see they're wearing orange and you're wearing orange and you're, hey, yeah. So I think that the biggest thing that has come out of this group of drivers, especially the ones who were there that night, that tragic night on August 9th at Canandaigua, they are closer than they have ever been. The group is closer than it's ever been. They help each other out. I mean, it's always been like club racing with this bunch anyway, and you've heard some of the modified drivers who have come over. They talk about how helpful everybody is. It took a series that was already pretty tight and made it as tight as could possibly be. I don't know how they could get much tighter. So just a great group of men and women on that series together, and like I said, they couldn't be tighter as a group right now.
Talking about ESS, Steve Poirier picks up another championship this year with ESS. And is it too early for us to try and predict what the ceiling is going to be for Steve Poirier?
I don't know about that, because this year was different for him. He didn't win as many races as he has in the past. He was talking. I was actually at the table with him and his crew. We were the only ones that weren't speaking French at the table for a little while there. But he actually won half the races this year that he did the year before. But the thing was, they finished on a lead lap. He finished every race. So I guess when you're a multi-time champion like Poirier is, I mean, I guess you're looking to better yourself a little bit every year. So for him to go out and run all those races in a division like sprint cars, I mean, anything can happen. You touch wheels with somebody in a feature, and bam, you could be 20 feet in the air and tumbling down the backstretch. It's impressive what he's done by running all those laps. He's got a great team around him. They got a great operation. And let's be honest, I mean, when you look at the points this year, what did he win it by? It was almost 300 points. You know, who knows? Maybe it'll be the Steve Poirier Empire Super Sprint Series. But they've got a lot of young drivers on that series that are really winning a lot of races. And look what Stuart Friesen did with the Empire Super Sprints. He had as many wins as Poirier did in half the races. Story yet to be written on what would happen, but boy, Steve Kinzer of ESS, it'd be tough to pick somebody else, to fill that role at this point. He's in his own cloud right now, up a little bit above the rest of the field, I think, in the Empire Super Sprints.
You talk about Stuart Friesen, and let's talk about the magic that kid has in a sprint car.
Yeah,
I mean, I can only imagine what that would look like if he had a full season on the ESS.
I've talked to him about that too, and I've asked him a couple times, are we going to lose you to the sprint car world? Because really, when you look at his numbers, I mean, he won 29 races this year. I think the sprint car total was somewhere in the 6 to 9 range, something like that. I mean, nobody does that. Nobody is that dominant in two different divisions. If I was a World of Outlaw team and I was looking for, a new talent, somebody new to go with, boy, I'd certainly have to take a look at him because he's done it both in 360 and 410. So, I mean, what could you say? The guy is a driver. He just put him in anything. I saw him win a 600 modified race at the end of 2013 at Penn Can. He started last. 30 laps, came up, won the race. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter what we put him in. He's just magic in a driver's suit.
He is for sure, and that's something that's not that I don't think is going away in the foreseeable future. I mean, just all of the different cars that he is able to get into and have success in. He's going to be teaming up with Tyler Seary this year to go out on the Super DirtCar Series, and a good move for Stuart. That gets him in a consistent ride for the series.
It does, because he does have a lot of different cars that he drives in, even on a weekly basis. A lot of times he's in 3 different cars, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're right, the consistency thing is a big thing. And this deal with Tyler Seary, I could totally see this being a win-win for both. What Stuart Friesen getting out of it, like you said, he's getting a consistent ride. He's getting something that he knows what he's going to be in. It's going to be pretty much the same car every time he gets to the racetrack. And from Tyler Seary's standpoint, I mean, he's done very well with the time he's had. Because remember, he does not have a lot of laps in these cars, really, when you compare it to some of the people that he's racing against. So win on the other side for Tyler Seary, because he's going to be able to sit there after the heat race, or when he comes to a track, let's say, that Stewart's really good at. He goes to Fonda or someplace like that, or Albany, Saratoga, or Utica, Rome. Tyler Seary's going to be able to sit there and talk to Stewart, and Stewart's going to say, okay, here's what we do with this, here's where we need the weights, here's what I do during the heat race. You see a lot of these deals happening. Danny Johnson does a lot of these types of things. Alan Johnson in a similar situation a few years ago with Dave Allen. It's probably one of the most common things we see nowadays is to get an experienced guy. And also, I know you were talking about Tim Fuller and Dave Rauscher. What a great situation for both drivers there. Tim's going to maintain the stuff. Dave's going to drive. He's going to get to, get a little knowledge from Tim. I like these deals when they happen. I think they benefit both parties, and you even see it in sportsman divisions. You see a young guy coming up, the team will bring in an experienced guy to work with them. I look at Matt Papa with Brett Hearn, for example, in the sportsman. These are the deals I really like to see in racing, because they're one of the few win-win across-the-board deals for everybody involved.
Now, Doug, what do you see out of Tim in 2015 coming up? success-wise, and I didn't ever hear. Are they following the whole DirtCar Series?
That remains to be seen. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to. I know the main thing is going to be Canandaigua at this point. Tim lost his ride with the World of Outlaws. Of course, his car owner was part of that whole NDRL thing, and you can Google his name and find out all kinds of stuff, so I didn't want to get into any of that. But basically, rather than try to stay on the road and find another late model ride, I think Tim decided to come back home, basically, and run this deal. He's got a daughter. I think she's 9 now, somewhere in that group, so imagine what that's got to be like. You know, you're on the road. You don't see your daughter and your wife quite as much. But I think it might take Tim a little bit of time to get back to where he was, because we've seen him in the car. He looks good, but he hasn't won a modified race in a little bit. So, but I think you'll see him back in victory lane at Canandaigua. And boy, did that just make! I mean, you know, you got Jimmy Phelps, you got Matt Shepard. I mean, look at the field we got. Justin Hares at Canandaigua already. Billy Dunn. You know, and if we see Eric Rudolph back in the car again, now throw in Tim Fuller. There's going to be a lot of experienced drivers fighting just to get in the top 5 at Canandaigua.
Steve Payne, don't forget Steve Payne.
Well, Steve Payne.
Right, 2 wins last year for Steve Payne, right.
Matt Billings. I mean, I see Matt Billings as a guy that could break out and get a couple of wins this season. I mean, you look at Canandaigua, and that is essentially, that's almost a series race every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're missing a couple of guys like Billy Decker, who's out there at Fulton, and guys like that. You know, Larry White, Pat Ward. Obviously, they can win races anywhere. Jimmy, we'll see if Jimmy stays at Fulton or goes back to Canandaigua. But you know, and here again, we talk about one benefiting from the other. Fuller, he's going to maintain the car. He's got a solid ride that he doesn't have to worry about. Dave Rauscher, I mean, this is a guy who works 70, 80 hours a week in his well drilling business. He doesn't have the time to work on his cars. He's barely got enough time to make it to the racetrack to race. So he'll get the benefit of hearing Tim Fuller's stories. And, of course, Tim's a former Canandaigua champion. He's won a lot of races there. So I think, you know, it might take a little bit, but once Tim Fuller gets rolling, look out, Modified World. He's going to be right back where he was.
We're going to talk more dirt modifieds. We're going to keep Doug here for just a second. We'll talk Florida in February after the break. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
On the other side of the break, more coverage and discussion from the dirt tracks. Stay tuned to Turn 5 Live.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
In the Pits Media is proud to present its newest partner, WinYourNewCar.com. That's right, you now can enter the #1 American Dream Car Contest giveaway at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette, tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
If you're a gearhead, you probably go online to those hot rod superstores, drooling over the chrome and speed goodies until you find just the right item for your muscle car, tuner car, truck. But what do you do when it comes to fixing the mom mobile? If you're like most do-it-yourselfers, you head to the strip mall parts store and talk to the "Do you want fries with that?" kid behind the counter. Hold on, Bunky. Did you stop to think where those chain stores are getting the parts that you're installing in the vehicle that's used to transport your family everywhere? They get the cheapest suppliers they can find to sell you the parts at bargain prices. Their limited lifetime warranties? What a joke. Remember the last time Mom's car broke down? You heard about that one for weeks. Don't take that chance again. Excelsior Racing has the quality parts you need for your family vehicle. Parts that you can install knowing you're getting the best for your family. Excelsior Racing. Quality parts, personalized service, affordable pricing, fast to you direct. Excelsior Racing. Online at excelsiorracing.com or call 502-909-2034.
Hi, everybody. This is Getty Lee for RAD. To many of us, drunk driving is something that other people do. Certainly not one of our friends or relatives would do such a thing. When you see someone who's had too much to drink, about to get into a car, urge them to give up the keys and find alternate transportation. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, you should too.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hey, race fans, this is Oswego Speedway Public Relations Director Dan Kapusinski, and you're listening to Turn 5 Live.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Brad Ovens, Clint Miller joining you here on a Tuesday night. Got Doug Elkins from Doug's Dirt Diary on the line here. And Clint, take it away with the next question.
Hey, we were just talking during the break and talking about Speed Weeks coming up here in Florida. And Justin Ayers got a big win down there last year. What do you see out of Justin this year? Do you think it's about – I mean, he's due for a breakout year. He's knocked on the door a long time. And we all thought that last year in February, the big win he had down there would pole vault him to a strong season. Not saying it wasn't, but I don't think it equaled the wins that we thought it would.
Well, Justin's in a tough situation, running Canandaigua, like we were just talking about. Everybody and their brother, who is a real tough racer, runs at that track. But remember, he's running against guys that are running 3, 4, 5 times a week. And for Justin, they've got a family business also. He's another guy who's extremely busy outside of the racetrack. I think it's tough to beat those guys, the Matt Shepards, the Billy Deckers, and guys like that are running more times a week. I mean, tremendous driver, does a great job on the series, been kind of on the cusp. Is he the next Billy Dunn? I think he might be. You could see a nice move up from him this year. And Florida's kind of its own deal. When you talk to the guys that go down there, there's not a lot that translates back to up here. The surface tends to be very sandy at Volusia. I understand it's not at all like the track surfaces that we get up here in New York State. So a lot of times when you go to Florida, it's more of a shakedown, bring a new car down, see what happens. But a lot of the changes that you make down there don't necessarily apply up here. But Justin Ayers, I think that's the toughest thing for him at this point, is just to race against these guys with a lot of experience. But boy, if you want to find out how good you are, he's certainly at the right place on Saturday night at Canandaigua, right down the street from his house to improve. And of course, you're racing against a lot of the guys that you're going to race on the series. I'd love to see Justin have a breakout year this season.
We talk about young drivers in the modifieds and starting to work their way up. One name and probably one of the interviews that I think I enjoyed the most over 2014, Doug, was the interview you had with Bob McCready talking about his son Jordan and making his way up through the ranks. Where do they see Jordan's development at this point? And is this something that they want to keep going with and maybe see him on the series someday? What are you hearing there?
Well, if you talk to Bob, he doesn't want him anywhere near any race cars at all. He didn't want that life for either Jordan or Tim. But like I said, I talked to him that week at Outlaw 200 weekend. They're doing everything they can to help him. But again, it comes down to seat time and laps that you're running at this point. And where Jordan is not here in Central New York, I think if you're going to beat these guys, you've got to be down here, and you've got to be running against them. You got to be at Brewerton, you got to be at Fulton, you got to be at Canandaigua, Utica, Rome, Fonda, Lebanon Valley, Albany, Saratoga, some places like that. I know he's putting his own deal together, so I'm not sure how well financed they are, even if they could afford to run as many shows as you need to, because that is one of the biggest things. Let's be honest. I mean, these modifieds are $50,000, $60,000 cars. When you put them together, the number the guys have always thrown out at me is to run weekly just at one track is going to be right around $100,000 by the time you add everything up, your expenses over the course of the year, motor freshenings, things of that nature. So a lot of guys are in the situation where their ability exceeds the amount of funding that they have in their wallet. I think Jordan might be one of those guys, but what he does have working for him is the McCready name. It'll be interesting to see what he does, but if you're going to make that next step, even look at Matt Billings, for example, who running small blocks up north. Very established at Brockville and Cornwall and Mohawk and places like that. But if you want to take the next step and you want to win in big blocks, you got to come down here to Central New York. I think, and Jordan's a guy who, again, when you look at, he started late also. Look at the laps he has and the results he's getting. It's definitely in his gene pool. There's no doubt about it. But if you're going to take that next step, I think you got to come down here and you got to run more than once a week. And I hope that Jordan could do that because boy, he's a draw. A lot of people would like to see him do it. He had a lot of fun with Timmy at Outlaw Weekend. You had the three of them actually together for the first time in a while at one track. So I'd love to see him come down here, run a little more, and get a little better.
Well, Doug, we'll close on this question, and this is one that's going to perk a lot of ears here in our local area that listen to our show weekly. We're hearing that the deal is going to be signed tomorrow for the Black Rock Speedway with Mike Jackson. If that all comes to fruition tomorrow, as we've been told it will, they're talking about bringing the modifieds back, which I think would be a popular move with the fans. We've heard from some drivers that would support it. I'm curious to know, is this just going to be a Southern Tier modified draw, or are we going to be able to pull some modifieds from a few different places?
That will, I think, determine on the purse. When you look at the tracks in the Southern Tier, most of them are in the $1,000 to $1,200 to win, which gives you a purse somewhere in the mid $6,000 range that you've got to come up with. Central New York is in the $1,500 range up here, which is I think $7,700 for the purse. The purse will determine, I think, how that works out. As far as guys from Central New York, Black Rock, you see a lot of small blocks do better there. So I would think initially you'd see some Woodhull guys. Of course, you'll see Ray Bliss. I think whether Steve Payne goes, I don't know, because obviously he ran great there all those years ago when he ran. I figured his win percentage out. It was just under 2 out of 3 that he would win at Black Rock. I think the purse is going to decide that, and I also wonder because in order to do that purse at Black Rock, you're going to need some more fans. You figure if it's $12 to get in, do the math there. You're going to need another 500 fans roughly in order to pay that purse. Sure, you get a little bit more in the pits, but I wonder. It's been tried before with mixed results. I don't know. I really don't know, but I don't see a lot of the guys from Central New York necessarily making the toe down there. I could see some Canandaigua guys, some Woodhull guys. And maybe even some guys from Southern Tier. So that's just my thought. And, of course, if they go with American Racer tires instead of Hoosiers, because that's kind of the line, the thruway and just below it, once you get down a little further south, tends to be American Racer. And now with Utica Rome switching over, the tires and the purse, I think, will be the ultimate determining factors there. But I hope it works because they're definitely going to have to put some more butts in the seat if they want to try to make that track still make money with modifieds out there, because that's $6,000 you don't have now.
Indeed. Always appreciate your time and your insight, Doug. What a couple of segments here for us to talk a little dirt modified racing. Of course, we want to let everybody know. I'm sure anybody that listens to this show has got DougsDirtDiary.com bookmarked, and if they don't, they should. There's just all sorts of information that folks that you can't get by just sitting in the grandstands at the races. It's always good stuff. Doug, what else do you have coming up as far as Syracuse Post Standard goes?
Well, we're still doing as much as we are there. Of course, when racing season gets going, we'll be doing more. But the thing that I'm most excited about right now, we are just beginning our redesign, and it's a much-needed redesign. We haven't had a redesign on our site since 2006, and a lot has changed, both online and in the racing world and in the delivery method. There's a lot of people doing things like you're doing now that weren't around back in 2006. So I think people are going to be very surprised at what we come up with. I think we're having a mobile version, so it'll work on tablets and iPhones and all kinds of stuff, as well as the regular computer version. I think when we bring that out, I think people are really going to like it, and it's going to open up a lot of eyes. And the big thing, of course, you and I both share the same goals here in the long run. I mean, yes, we love big-time racing, but we love the local stuff 10 times better. So many great stories with all these guys, and there's not a lot of places for these stories to get out. I'm a fan. You're a fan. Anybody who can get a race car out on a racetrack, I'm a fan of, and I just want to keep telling the stories, hopefully helping the sport grow, bring some new people in, and great stories. And you and I are very fortunate that we get to talk to these guys and everybody to tell all these great stories, and I'm looking forward to telling even more.
I'm right there with you. We have here in just a couple of weeks, we've got the Yates County Speedway Banquet that's coming up. We're going to be down there getting all sorts of audio with the drivers and Dan himself. I know that a lot of folks will be interested in his address for the racers and teams and everybody that attends the banquet there. So we'll have some good stuff coming your way here in a couple weeks.
Wish you all the best. Have a great time. And really, guys, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And, you do a great job, guys, really. Thanks so much for helping to spread the word about the great racing we have here in New York State.
No doubt about it. That's Doug Elkins from DougsDirtDiary.com. And Clint, what a night talking Dirt Modifieds with the guy who is right in the middle of it all there in Syracuse, New York, and Doug Elkins. And a lot of good information. We'll digest all of that here after another quick break here. We'll talk that. Clint, we've got Chili Bowl updates. We've got heat races going on here on the Tuesday night qualifying night for the Chili Bowl. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports
On the
Network.
other side of the break, more coverage and discussion from the dirt tracks. Stay tuned to Turn 5 Live.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest. At WinYourNewCar.com, complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444. 0444 and ask for Sue.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
Now back to the Larry, Curly, and Moe of Dirt Track Racing. Steven, Clint, and Brad.
Welcome back, race fans, to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens coming to you on a Tuesday night here from the Casa de Pork Chop Studios, live on the Performance Motorsports Network. Clint, let's get into Chili Bowl. We've got night number 1 of qualifying as they work towards Saturday's A Main. It's going to be live on MAV TV. I know you are looking forward to it. I know I am too.
Oh yeah, it's you're racing indoors and there's 300 and some cars and lots of big names and lots of little names and guys trying to make a name.
You're right about that. Let's roll through some heat race results that we have from Chili Bowl. We've got some live updates coming from the Twitter handle for the Chili Bowl. It's at CB Nationals. That's at CB Nationals. And before we get into these results real quick, Clint, I want to get this out there one more time. If you're on Twitter, hit us up at Turn 5 Podcast. That's at Turn 5 Podcast. Let us know who you think's going to win the Chili Bowl this year. And we'll read your guys' results online, from online on the show live here. Or if you're on Facebook, send us a Facebook message. Let us know who you think is going to win the Chili Bowl in 2015. Clint, let's roll into Heat 1 results. We're going to give you guys the first 3 finishers.
Okay, Heat 1, 8 laps. Andrew Felker comes away with a win over Tyler Courtney and Travis Scott. An interesting side note out of that heat, Kyle Larson was involved in an accident, and I believe he's done for the night. So he's going to have to do some serious alphabet soup on Saturday if he wants to make the main.
Oh, that's unfortunate, man. Wow.
Yeah, I guess from what I was reading, somebody lost it in front of him. He didn't have anywhere to go, and he piled into him. So, I mean, it's one of them racing deals.
And the crazy thing about the Chili Bowl is that could ruin your whole week right there.
Yeah, on a Tuesday, no less. Now, I don't know how the rules go or whatever. I don't know if they can have a second car. I know some guys, have a couple different car numbers that they have entered. I don't know if that's the case or not. It would be interesting to find out, but I don't know if he can try to qualify through another night or not.
Yeah. Let's move on to Heat 2.
Your winner, Heat 2, Nick Ween, followed by Wade Seiler and Jeb Sessoms, your top 3. No big names in that one to give a little update on. Heat 3, your winner was Chet Gerke, followed by Brad Loyette. He's a out west sprint car driver. Pretty good too. He was, if you ever watch on MAV TV, the ASCS from Arizona, he's always one that is up towards running in the front. And then running out top 3 was Zach Dahm.
All right, let's. You're on a roll, man. Let's move on to Heat 4.
Heat 4, your winner was Billy Weiss over Clint Boyles and Michael Pickens. Tony Bruce Jr., another guy out of the ASCS ranks, got a DNF 8th place, so he's going to have some work to do. Heat 5, Alex Sprite takes the win over Dominic Selzy. Most of you will recognize that name if you're associated with any of the midget racing going around. He's been around a long time. And running out top 3 was Chance Morton. Going on here to Heat 6, Sam Haferteep Jr., former World of Outlaw driver, gets the win over Robbie Parrish and Brandon Mattis. Heat 7, Levi Jones, another name. I believe he drives for, or did, maybe. I don't know. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, Steven. Tony Stewart Racing, maybe? Colton Cottle and Blake Edwards rounding out your top 3.
And moving on to heat number 8.
Terry Babb comes away with a win over Matt Gilbert, and Oshweekon Speedway owner Glenn Stiers rounds out your top 3.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that's a good showing. I don't know if that gets him into the A main or not, because there's 9 heats. So I imagine they're probably only taking 2 out of each heat. But I don't know how if they're doing points, passing point. I don't have any idea. Then rounding out your 9th heat, Spencer Baston takes the win over Mike Wheeler and Jake Newman, and that's the last update as they were heading on the track for to do a draw. That was the last update we got.
All right. Well, there's your live update from the Chili Bowl, and let's talk Chili Bowl while we're at it here, Clint. 4 big nights of qualifying. This starts night number 1 out there in Tulsa, and this is if tonight's your qualifying night, man, it's we talked about Kyle Larson, having the wreck and being so early in the week that that could. It may not ruin the week completely, but man, that's going to be a setback for sure, because you just don't want to be coming from the H main, the G main on Saturday when they start going through the alphabet soup. And if you've never been to the Chili Bowl or heard of it, when we talk about alphabet soup, I mean, there are so many entries. There's over 320 entries this week in Tulsa that, where if you go to a modified or sprint car race and they have 30 entries, they'll run a B main. Well, these guys are going to start at, some letter G, H main. It could be further than that. I mean, it's just crazy. And
I think they're talking K or maybe L.
Okay. All right. And they got to work their way through that. They'll start at K or L, and they'll take Clint is at 2. I think it's 2 cars out of each one, 2 or 3, and then they move on to the next one.
They move up, to the next one, and then they do the top 3 or 4 or whatever it is, and keep going all the way up till you get to the A main.
So that's going to be good stuff there, and of course the A main will be shown live on MAV TV on Saturday night. So if you've got MAV TV, be sure to either tune in on Saturday night or be like me and make sure that I hit the DVR button on Saturday, so we can go back and relive all the action. So, let's talk about last year, Clint. Some exciting racing down toward the end there, but even to the B main and then right in the A main. Just great racing last year at the Chili Bowl.
It was, and I think that in 04, J.J. Yaley did the complete alphabet soup. Went all the way from whatever the last heat was, made it all the way to the A main. Last year he made it, I think, from D to C to the B, but didn't advance past the B. And it's close racing throughout. I mean, I believe that Brian Clausen won, but the lead was swapped, 5 or 6 times over the last 10 laps. Inside, outside, it's just really good, tight racing on a little. I don't even know how big the track is. It's like a 10th mile or 2/10 mile. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's small. That's for sure. Gonna be good racing there, though. Who do you have a guy that you're watching this week, as far as who you think could go all the way this week?
Well, I have a guy that I think is going to win. I think that either Brian Clausen Mays is in line for repeat, but 320 some cars that you're picking a name out of a hat. The Swindells are always tough there. There's a local guy, Tim McCready's down there. I'd like to see him do well. A former winner, and a former out of the park guy who ruined the whole racing season because it broke his back. So. Just a lot of good stories out there that you want to hear about.
And as we're talking about the Chili Bowl, I'm putting a post up on the Turn 5 Racing Podcast Facebook page. If you're listening tonight, like to interact with us on the show, Well, just put the question up. Okay, race fans, who's your pick to win the Chili Bowl this year? We want to see who you guys think is going to take it. You've got strong teams like the team that includes Kyle Larson, includes Christopher Bell, includes Rico Abreu. Rico's a guy that could absolutely pull it out, and that wouldn't shock anybody. But we want to know who you think who's got what it takes to win the Chili Bowl this year. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk more. Clint, we've got a guest who's available. We're going to talk to him in the next segment of the show. Mel Thomas from Thomas Racing Videos. They picked up some hardware here a couple weeks ago down at the I just lost the letter. The EMPA show, I believe, is what it's called, Clint. But we're gonna
that's right. Yep.
About EMPA down in Pennsylvania. Thomas Video picked up some big awards down there at that show. We're going to talk to Mel. On the other side of this break, you're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Stephen, Clint, and Brad will be back with more Turn 5 Live right after these words.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
WinYourNewCar.com. Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at WinYourNewCar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free. Come on, stop dreaming, start driving with WinYourNewCar.com.
Car problems? You can trust your local Cotman man. Cotman has a 40-year history as a leader in car repair and making happy, satisfied customers. Whatever's wrong with your car, SUV, or truck, Cotman will check it out free using state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment. Don't take chances with your car. Bring it to Cotman and let your local Cotman man show you why they are America's transmission and total auto care experts. Visit Cotman.com to download money-saving coupons. Cotman. Real service, real fast.
You know that phone call is going to come at the worst possible time, right at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, fourth down, and 1 yard to go. They're piling up, but you can't watch that. You got to get that car off the road. This could have been prevented if you have taken advantage of Cotman's free TransCheck 21. Here's a chance to have us look at your car and head off any problems that could happen that could interrupt that game. Again, it's a free check. Come see us.
See Leonard and the fine folks at Cotman of Manassas, 9113 Mathis Avenue in Manassas. Give them a call at 703-365-7200.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 and ask for Sue.
Hi, this is Jens Scott from Summit Point Kart in Summit Point, West Virginia. If you're looking for a real racing experience on a real racetrack, come out to Summit Point Kart this weekend. For as little as $25, you can get your racing career started. New this year, Summit Point Kart offers the RX 250 capable of over 75 miles an hour. We're open every Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m., Saturday from noon till 10 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 9 p.m. For more information, go to our website, summitpointkartwithak.com, or you can call us at 304-725-5270. Summit Point Kart, your East Coast karting center.
Hi, race fans. This is Jeremy Trank, and now back to Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Welcome back to Turn 5 Live here on the Performance Motorsports Network. Steve Ovens, Clint Miller, Brad Ovens joining you here on a Tuesday night, getting ready to go over and catch up with Mel Thomas from Thomas Racing Video, who is going to tell us all about the awards that they were able to take down at the EMPA Awards and convention. Mel, welcome to Turn 5 Live. Always good to have you on the show when we have an opportunity to do so. And let us start with congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. You guys know as well as anybody all that we put into the videos that we do.
Well, tell us about the convention you guys were down there at. I know that they have it every year and give us a little background on that event.
It's Eastern Motorsports Press Association's been around for going on 50 years, and it's an organization of professional writers, broadcasters, videographers, photographers, and announcers that work in the motorsports industry, and we have associates and corporate members as well. And every year they have a convention for all the different categories for the writers, broadcasters, video, photos. There's a lot of people go. Anywhere from 150 to the total membership is over 250 press members, and this is basically all the East Coast. From North Carolina right on up through New England. So it's a good variety of people. The convention's held once a year in Pennsylvania. Usually they've got a good spot. Lenny Sammons is part of the committee on the convention. And they've been in the same spot the last few years. Before that, it was in Trevose, Pennsylvania for about 10 years. So it's all right in the Philadelphia area. It's a 5-hour drive for us to go. But, this year they changed some of the rules and regulations on the entries that we could put in, and we were only allowed 3 entries per person. So Matt put in 3, and I put in 3, and we had a total of 6 entries in. We come away with 4 first place and 2 seconds, so I think that's pretty darn good.
Oh, no doubt about it. Talk to us about, do you guys have a handful of items that you guys want to submit, or was there something during the season that after the event you and Matt go back and say, this might be a good one to submit here?
Well, let me tell you, it started out because the entry deadline is in November, early November, so they can get the judging done and the awards, printed up and plaques and everything. So we're allowed to submit anything from November to November. So this year we put in the 2013 crash video, which was produced after the deadline last year, and also the Race of Champions promo piece that we did that included a lot of older footage from past races of the Race of Champions, as well as 5 Mile Point Speedway. So, those 2 were basically 2 that were done late in 2013. And then, we kind of go through the year and pick out what we think is some of the best races we've done because of the categories, the way they gone. They got single camera category, which we won with the Brewerton ESS and mod race. Was the week after the Kevin Ward tragedy at Canandaigua, so that was kind of a special video, and that was just a single camera coverage, just shooting from the roof, and we got first place in that. In a multi-camera coverage, Matt and I did a 2-camera shoot down at New Egypt Speedway with the sprints and modifieds back in the Brett Dale show in June, and we got first place with that. And in second place, we got the Race of Champions Mod 200 from Oswego, which you guys know how many cameras we do at Oswego. But we had a wireless infield camera, which added to that. We had pit stops and everything in this one, and they come out real good. And talking with the one judge, we have little audio problems from time to time at Oswego with the announcers not maintaining their levels, and that's why we got second place with that. So Matt and I took first and second in the multi-camera category. As I said, the crash video, we got second to a guy out of Allentown, Pennsylvania from Blue Ridge Communications, does an actual TV show down there with highlights. And live program, Matt won first place with live program multi-camera. We won first place with the King of Wings from Oswego. which was the big 10,000 to win King of Wings show in early July. And then, as I said in the documentary, I come away with that was probably the biggest category with more entries, and I come away with first place with the Race of Champions promo that Matt and I put together.
Wow,
So
that's awesome to be able to bring that stuff back locally. That's good stuff.
We had a good variety. We had two from Oswego, Brewerton, New Egypt, which is really out of our territory, but we were down there, and that was a 360 sprint show and a Super Dirt Series thing that Brett Dale put together for his Super Series, and the video came out good, even though we were kind of limited because of the views down there and the number of videographers there. We ended up at New Egypt shooting off the tower on the backstretch, and I was down in turn number 1, and we had the whole track covered, and the thing came out beautiful.
Well, that's something that that folks come to expect when they see you guys or have one of your guys' DVDs of an event you've covered, and obviously one of the big ones during the year is the annual Smash and Crash footage, and you guys had quite a DVD you guys put together this year. A lot of action, so many different tracks, a lot of miles logged getting all that footage.
Well, there's no doubt about that. We got a lot of help with that. Jim Mullen from Performance Video does Lancaster and Ransomville. He supplies us footage for the crash tape, and Bob James, Bobco Video in the Albany area. He supplies us with some of his good footage. He's got Albany, Saratoga, Glen Ridge, Lebanon Valley, and Fonda that he covers on a regular basis. So, we've got a lot of support. And this year we had our own guys that do our weekly tracks for us. Got a lot of good stuff too. And then, of course, Oswego's always a big contributor. The crashes with the foam and everything up there. Plus, doing it with multi-cameras, we got different angles on a lot of stuff from Oswego.
Yeah, that's always the folks that have never participated in that before. They don't wouldn't necessarily have that understanding of just how much goes into producing a show like that at a track like Oswego, and it's just a pretty incredible production that you guys pull together every single week, and a place like Oswego, you guys are shooting that night, and that footage is leaving the track that night and headed off to a few local establishments, we'll say, and drivers are enjoying that right after the races.
Yeah, we enjoy going to the lanes for wings and beer and watch our labor of the night. Usually, if we get done, plenty of time to partake in that.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Talk to us about what you guys are going to have coming up this season. I know you guys always have a host of weekly tracks, and I'm sure you guys are still even trying to put some of those plans together as we speak.
Well, there's still a lot of things up in the air, as you well know, and we won't go into that, but we're still waiting. If one thing happens, maybe something else won't happen, but we've got a big meeting set up with the powers that be at Wheatsport Speedway. They're trying to expand their coverage for on the grounds as well as broadcast, whether it be internet or otherwise. We're trying to work with them. We got a meeting set up the end of this month to meet with all the principals on that, and Matt's putting up plans together with a few different scenarios of how they want to do stuff, and I know there's going to be a lot of changes over there in the food service and everything else, and we're trying to make it fan friendly with videos down for when people are in the food lines and everything. So it's going to expand their coverage, and we don't know all of what they want to plan. I mean, the big show there is going to be the World of Outlaws and the Modifieds on May 17th. going to be, that may be their opening show. I don't know what their schedule looks like yet, but that could be a heck of a show. A Super Dirt Series modified race paying $10,000 to win, plus the World of Outlaws sprints is, that's going to be a can't-miss show, whether you want to go there or whether it's available for broadcast or on the internet.
Yeah, that show is going to be huge. I mean, anytime you can put, and Mel, you've been around the racetracks for a long time. Anytime that you can put the modifieds and the sprint cars together, it just seems like that, at least lately, the last couple of seasons, that's the hottest ticket in town, is when you can pair up modifieds and sprint cars.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Another one we're looking at being involved with somehow or other is the one at the end of June at Oshweekend, where they got sprint cars, 360 sprints, some Super Dirt Series modifieds, and the Go Nuclear late models all at Oshweekend on that date. So that's another one we've got definitely marked on our calendar.
Yeah, that'll be a huge show for sure. And
we just we just got some stuff from Mike at Dirt on Dirt. We're going to be probably doing some of the World of Outlaws and other late model shows that are in the southern tier of New York or northern New York and into Canada. So we did those a couple of years ago for them, and we're going to try and do as many of those as we can for Dirt on Dirt as well. So we're getting a full plate already. Matt and I were going over the schedule today at lunchtime. What we got. We're going to try and do more Super Dirt Series events. Like he said, we hadn't been to Granby and Drummond in quite a few years, so I think we're going to mark that down on our calendars as well as cover the Quebec tour.
Well, that's something that we can look forward to seeing from you guys. And one other thing I wanted to mention about the convention and the awards that we're giving out down there. One of the local announcers got a pretty prestigious award down there. Anybody that's ever been to Chemung, Shangri-La, I think she's even been up to Spencer. She's even gone down to Florida and announced it at New Smyrna in Florida. Talk to us about Carol receiving her award there.
Well, she was up against some pretty stiff competition, but she was hoping to win that because Carol and I started out way back when in the 90s at Tioga Shangri-La Speedway announcing together. And so, we go back quite a ways, and she was pretty thrilled. It was a great award for her as a one of the top awards. It's a big award that she comes up with, and for a great job that she does. And she was really happy with that. So it's that was for her dedication to EMPA and all that she does. She's secretary of the organization, and she does a lot behind the scenes that people don't know. She does a newsletter that goes out on a bi-monthly basis and everything, and keeps everybody informed with emails and stuff that's going on. So, it was very deserving of her to get that award.
And anytime you can receive an award from somebody like Ken Squire, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Well, Ken Squire was a keynote speaker on Saturday, and he was supposed to speak for half an hour or so, and he ended up running almost an hour. And I got the whole thing recorded on video, and I'm making copies for a lot of the members as well as to send to him because he really enjoyed the weekend, and it was great to have somebody tell stories like he's got stories from back in the 70s before the broadcasting really began in earnest on television. They played a segment of him doing a race in 1971, I believe. It was at it wasn't Darlington, but it was one of the other smaller NASCAR tracks, 400 mile race that they did, and that's available on YouTube. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's quite a story he's got, and talking about his partner Tom Curley, who received an award there as well. He had some interesting stories and a lot of humor to him, and a lot of dedication.
Well, Mel, it's always good to catch up with you, and when we've got to catch up with Matt in the past. And again, congratulations on all the awards from the EMPA and those are well deserved for you guys as well. ThomasRacingVideos.com is their website. You can also find them on Thomas Video Productions on Facebook, and check those guys out. Again, if you haven't seen the 2014 crash tape, you don't know what you're missing. Mel, thanks again for your time tonight.
Okay, good talking to you. I'm always available whenever you want to talk. I'm just ready, willing, and able, most of the time.
That we do know. That's Mel
Unless
Thomas
I'm
from Thomas Video Productions.
High school sport here and there.
Oh, absolutely. We know you and Matt are busy guys. That's for sure.
I was over in your hometown
good.
the other night doing the basketball game. Had a good talk with Lance Young while I was over there.
Hey, there's a name that we haven't talked about in a while.
Yeah, he's still got a race car and a couple motors.
Well, Clint, we're going to have to talk about that a little bit more here as we get ready to close out the show. But want to thank Mel for joining us tonight. On the other side of the break, we'll talk Chili Bowl Nationals. We'll get to all of our race fan picks. If you haven't made your pick, go over to the Turn 5 Racing podcast page and let us know who you think's going to win the Chili Bowl. You're listening to Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Side of the break, more coverage and discussion from the dirt tracks. Stay tuned to Turn 5 Live.
How would you like to win a brand new Corvette? Larry O's got all the details.
Enter America's #1 dream car giveaway contest at winyournewcar.com. That's right, winyournewcar.com. Complete the puzzle the fastest and win a new Corvette tax-free, delivered to your door. Come on, stop dreaming and start driving with winyournewcar.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
So you finally arrived at the sweet spot in your life. The kids are raised and gone. You have free time, and it's finally time to do something for you. If you've ever considered owning a Corvette, but have been putting it off for years, now is the time to act. Isn't this the time to finally get that Corvette you always wanted and drooled and dreamed over? Well, grab the little lady by the hand and take her to Cooper Corvettes. They're conveniently located on Route 1 just off of I-95 and just north of the Marine Corps base. They have lots of pampered and well-maintained Corvettes in inventory. And if they don't have what you want, they'll find it. From classic Stingrays to modern-day cars, Cooper is your one-stop shop. And speaking of shops, they service what they sell. And even if you didn't buy a Cooper Corvette, they'll service your Corvette anyway. Become part of the Cooper Corvette family. Call them at 703-445-1483. That's 703-445-1483. And on the web at coopercorvettes.com. That's coopercorvettes.com, American pride and countrywide.
You wouldn't trust your taxes to an uncertified accountant, so why trust your vehicle to an uncertified technician? When you have to take your car into the shop, look for the blue and white ASE sign. That ASE blue seal means the shop employs technicians certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. ASE certification is proof that technicians have the knowledge and experience to fix your vehicle right the first time. For more information on finding an ASE Blue Seal of Excellence facility, visit the website at www.ase.com.
Creekside Entertainment is the official DJ and photo booth of Turn 5 Live. Stuart Ovens and his staff at Creekside Entertainment are sure to provide you with the very best DJ and photo booth entertainment on the market in the Finger Lakes. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. Book your party or photo booth with Creekside Entertainment today.
Now back to the crew whose studio was named after a dinner entree. Here's Stephen, Clint, and Brad.
Well, boys, here we go. Let's wrap up the show strong. We're going to get into some more Chili Bowl results. Clint, what do we have? What's the latest update here on Tuesday night qualifying?
Well, we got Heat 10, Joey Mugen was a win over Jonathan Beeson and David Prickett coming from 7th to 3rd. Heat 11, Robert Ballou was a winner over Jimmy Light and some guy named Saldana, Joey Saldana, I think it is.
Yeah, we know that guy.
And then the first, the D main is up. First one's over. Garrett Atkins takes the win over Sean Peterson and Steven Dravecki. Tony Bruce Jr. coming in 4th. It doesn't say anything about Kyle Larson as it did not start or a DNF. So we'll have to see what the C feature brings.
All right. We again, if you want more information about the Chili Bowl Nationals, looks like they're doing some live updates, and they're doing some pretty good updates for folks that aren't there. On Twitter, it's at CB Nationals for Chili Bowl Nationals, at CB Nationals on Twitter, as well as Chili Bowl Nationals on Facebook. So be sure to check that out. Clint, let's go talking about Chili Bowl. Let's go over to what our fans listening to the show tonight have put in for who they think is going to win the Chili Bowl this year. And we've got some pretty good guesses here. Really some guesses kind of all over the place here. Bill Folk, who's listening in tonight, says T-Mac, Tim McCready, is going to take that. And Todd Thomas agrees with him on that. Adam Del Grosso, 2014 front-wheel drive track champion at the Woodhall Raceway. He's putting in for Kenny Wallace. Old Kenny Wallace, NASCAR driver Kenny Wallace.
He gets a vote. That's cool.
Yep, that's good stuff there. Thank you, Adam, for your pick. We've got Bill Hall listening into the show tonight. He's also going on the T-Mac train. He thinks Tim McCready is going to get his second Golden Driller of his career. Boy, the party wouldn't stop in Watertown, Clint, if T-Mac was able to get that done on Saturday night.
Oh, that's for sure. The D features up here. Let me break in real quick here, Steve.
Yeah, go for it, bud.
Chase Briscoe comes over the win over Dustin Golobic and Aaron Dramgul. Golobic, they're from California. His brother Shane is also a sprint car driver that'll run anything he can get his hands on.
All right, good deal. Our last two folks that have put their picks in for the Chili Bowl winner in the A main on Saturday. Former street stock driver, now four-cylinder competitor, Jeremy Trank, says Rico Abreu is going to get it done. And that would be a popular win, too. I would really like to see Rico pick up the win. I mean, he's won everything in a sprint car, midget, you name it. Rico is one of the guys to beat. So, Jeremy, thank you for listening in tonight, giving that pick. And also going with Rico Abreu, Black Rock Speedway, Yates County Speedway. Now we're going back to Black Rock Speedway. Backstretch flagger, Nick Legret puts a vote in for Rico Abreu. So thanks, Nick, for listening in tonight. Always a good guy to talk to at the races, Nick, backstretch flagger over there at Dundee. Thanks, everybody, who put in their picks and participated tonight. Always good to have a fan interaction here on Turn 5 Live. We love it, and we thank you guys for it. Moving over to Twitter, Brad, before he joined us, he put in his pick. He also is going with Rico Abreu. So our producer, B-Rad, going to put in a vote for Rico Abreu. Clint, now it's your turn, my friend. Who do you got for the Chili Bowl?
I am going to go with... I'm going to go with Brian Clausen.
Going with Brian Clausen, 2 in a row.
And I'm going to... Yep. I think that... I don't know. The kid's a talent, and... it just takes a break or two, or 5 or 6 down here, and that's who I'm gonna go with. But it wouldn't kill me to see Rico win. I think that'd be a great story.
Well, I honestly I can't remember who it was, but somebody on Motorsports Madness last night said that they thought Clausen could get it done 2 in a row as well. Might have been Jacob who thought Clausen could get it done. Me myself. I have thought all week long that the power team of Christopher Bell, Rico Abreu, Kyle Larson. I've been thinking that one of those guys is going to get it done. I mean, that is just a power team. But being that I'm a homer, I like to go with our hometown guys. I got to go with Bill and Bill Folk and Bill Hall. I'm going with T-Mac. I just think Timmy had a decent showing last year, and I think he's going to pick up on it. And I really feel like Timmy could get it done this year. We'll see what happens. But again, CB Nationals on Twitter, Chili Bowl Nationals on Facebook. We've got some folks coming in with some last minute picks. Our buddy Coley, Tom Cole, puts in a pick for T-Mac, Tim McCready. Thanks, Tom, for listening tonight. I'm with you, brother. I think T-Mac gets it done. Clint, how is it possible another episode has come and gone here on Turn 5 Live?
Well, when we have the guests that we do, and not to toot our own horn, but the great hosts of the show.
Yeah, they're okay.
I just think that, this is so much fun. And I heard somewhere that it's really not a job if you enjoy what you're doing. And that's what I really feel like we got here. And I just have a good time doing it. And I think we put a good product out. And I think people really like listening to it.
I would agree wholeheartedly with you there. I appreciate everybody that listens to us every week on the Performance Motorsports Network, performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. Also, keep up to date at racechaseronline.com for all the latest and breaking stories. And I anticipate we're going to have some news tomorrow, Clint, with the announcement of the lease being signed for Black Rock Speedway and Mike Jackson. We'll see what happens, but I really do believe that we're going to get that news tomorrow. Other than that, man, if that deal goes through, you can bet we'll have Mike Jackson on the show next week. And we're also going to start getting into some season previews for guys racing at Dundee, Woodhall, as well as some Grit Racing Series drivers as well. So on behalf of everybody here at Turn 5 Live and the Performance Motorsports Network, I'm the host of Turn 5 Live, Steve Ovens, saying thank you, folks, for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Turn 5 Live on the Performance Motorsports Network.
5 Live, the Performance Motorsports Network. PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com is a member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guest, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or marketing partners.